full-on wars going on about religion and money and gold and whatever all over the world. Thousands of people getting shot at every day. But yeah, as a species going extinct, there's only 20,000 rhino left, and we're not doing anything about it. It's ridiculous.
Bonnie and Clyde, Schotia Game Reserve's only rhino. Bonnie, pregnant with her first calf, carries the future of the rhino population at Schotia and in South Africa in her womb.
When we got them, poaching wasn't really a big issue, and it wasn't, I don't think there'd even been any rhino poached in the Eastern Cape about 4 years ago. So no, it wasn't a big concern for us. And of course there had been a little bit of poaching taking place further north in South Africa, but in our area it wasn't a concern at all. Well, on the 28th of May 2013 was the last day that the Bonnie and Clyde were found on a game drive with their horns on, and everything seemed normal. The following day the game drives went around. We went for a drive to look for them, couldn't find them on the Wednesday morning, the 29th. Game drive couldn't find them on the evening or afternoon of the 29th. We had searched all over the place, and then Thursday morning we were still searching, couldn't find anything. And only on Thursday afternoon, the 30th of May, did one of the rangers, he found them, or found Clyde walking around, stumbling around. Yeah, that was the first time we found them without a horn, without their horns on. That's when we knew what had happened.
We were first called to the poaching of these two rhino. We found Clyde, the bull, in a very drugged state, but he was stumbling around. He was able to walk. He seemed to have use of all his legs, which was very surprising because the particular drugs that were used to poach these animals are very, very potent.
The potency of the drugs, along with the trauma of being poached, caused Bonnie's body to abort her baby, and with it, the future of Scotia's rhino population. Who would do this? The organised crime involved in rhino poaching is extensive and growing. High demand for horn from Asian countries such as China and Vietnam, who believe the horn to serve medicinal and recreational purposes, are forcing the illegal attainment of horn to reach new levels of skill and sophistication, as seen in the case of Bonnie and Clyde.
The horns were really cleanly cut off. We believe the poachers used something like a hacksaw with a very thin blade, which gets rid of forensic evidence. You know, then there's not much shavings or dust left behind.
I've never been called to living animals that have had their horns so neatly removed. At these syndicates, we know that the level of professionalism has been very high because of the amount of organisation that goes behind orchestrating a poaching procedure like this.
This change and advancement in poaching leaves rhino owners forced to adapt and search for new solutions.
So it hasn't always been this good, and it seems like it's getting that way. And a lot of the cases in the area, I think because we've been monitoring them so well and the police have been so good at what they're doing, that they've had to resort to being this organised and sophisticated. They can't just go and run around hacking horns off. It's not that easy for them anymore. So they're coming up with new ideas.
These sinister advancements within the organised crime world of rhino poaching, in addition to the Asian market's increase in the demand for the horn, calls for urgent action.
The ideal world, without doing too much damage to human lives, or without too many people dying, I believe that the answer is to legalize the trade. I know it sounds bad because this is going to have to be done to just about every rhino if it is legalized. But to legalize the trade in horn, because there is about 40 tons in South Africa alone, 40 tons of rhino horn in the vaults that belong to national parks. And then who knows how much in privately owned horn. And if you flood the market with that, the demand for poaching rhino and killing them will come down drastically. And then the rhino itself, the animals themselves, will become worth something. Because private landowners like ourselves will want to purchase more rhino, and we'll do everything to look after them, and we'll farm their horns. That way we'll keep those, whoever's using it, those people happy, because they'll get their horn, and we'll keep the species alive, and the species will then breed, because we'll all be wanting to look after it.
This will not bring Bonnie's calf back to life, however. Her child will always be a victim.
A serious change is needed. If it carries on as it is now, within 10 years the species will be extinct. That's not saying, I mean, that's the white rhino and the black rhino species. The rhino species will be extinct.